Okay, we got about 2 minutes before the bottom of the hour, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is typically a drama moment. So this is the 30-minute British pound versus the New Zealand dollar. Kind of a psycho pair. I got a spread here of 3.2. It's Asia. I expect it to be kind of bad. Now, look at this channel here that is kind of obvious, if you look at the connect the highs and lows and just the wicks. So you have this golden channel that exists just momentarily, not perfectly. I think it's like a little bit overshooting the wrong way there, but if I took the wick window, which is going to be a little bit bigger, I'll go to the wicks, and then I'll take this to the wicks. So this is like the envelope at an angle. Optimal trade entry, of course. Don't be silly. But this is like max zoom out in Windows at 200% res of Windows. I am 200% larger. So I can just see the symbols here at a distance. I have to reset everything to bold because I screwed up a thing and it defaults and it wipes out everything to thin. Here's the Dow Jones. I was trying to just use this simple template, which is high-low is in black and the close is the white line. It's as simple as I could get it. I'm going to have to... So here's the Dow Jones, which is marching through the roof. It's going to be insane. We're going into record territory. It's very exciting. I think NASDAQ's leading the way. So I've turned off the cloud because, to be honest with you, it's just an effect. I don't really have a trade plan for the cloud because I'm always going to trade the structure. I could lean on the 4-hour period moving average and say that, look, it's got a nice setup there. But it's not reality in a way because you'd have to, if you're going to do 3 moving averages, which essentially what it was, you're talking about 2, 3, and 4 period moving average crossover. Very tight, but it's not really good for the reversal trades because you're always going to be waiting for this other element to line up. Whereas most of the time, the lowest risk trade is getting in at the very edge of the market and then getting out at the very other edge of unfair to unfair. So the engulf pattern or the engulf, we know that the market ranges and then it moves and it ranges. So during the range phase, you kind of have to be you're going to hunt the stops of the trend traders. And then when it goes into trend mode, hopefully it's on the way to your target. Now, if you don't want to chase the market, you're always going to trade reversals, obviously. You're going to try to become an expert in reversal trading because you realize that there is a low that's coming that's maybe 5.5 hours away, and it's finally going to queue up. Oh, I got this pharmaceutical company, I think. Oh, Twitter. Didn't even know what the symbol was. But what's fascinating right now is about the stocks, how they're just going to go creaming north very fast because there's nothing up there. It's insane. It's insane. Just like it did here. It's going to be the same drama. We break out, we pull back to the breakout point, and then for God's sakes, and I did call this run actually. Must say, I kept saying, there's people thinking this is a top, and look out. Here's when they were calling for the end of the world was it back here? I can't remember. No, there's the first end of the world, but no, here was the golden cross. People's moving averages were just getting to that point, of golden entry. It was like, especially if you can imagine, here's your adaptive moving average, right? It's like, whoa, oh my gosh, like, oof, now it's lagging and can't quite catch up. And it'd be funny if you could have a trading system like this where you just say, oh yeah, basically my moving average looks like this. I took every one of these trades. What, are you kidding me? Not really here, but this is certainly a problem. But look at this washout. Oh my God. And look at the volatility. Notice these swings are getting bigger. It's not to say we can't trap up here and then just be like, oh yeah, it's the end of the world. Just never make it above there. Support here doesn't hold. This is the end of the world scenario. Then it starts to clean house down to here. Can you imagine? Dodd-Frank, whatever that fucking shit was. Now, what people gotta realize, that this bottom that became a top on the monthly perfectly, as it starts to clean house, here comes the scalpers at the new Lonely Wick low. Bounce it back to here. Oh my God, this thing doesn't even make it back to this floor and it's off to the races. As soon as they dip in this well here, nobody comes in but the big boys. All right, say people with deep pockets are buying here. They're buying here. And they're buying all the way down, no questions asked. They wouldn't even think to ask that question. Here's the scalpers. Last bounce. Dead cat bounce. Last bounce. 2008 stocks. Sure, we could draw a trend line here that breaks, and you would think that if you drew it too tight, or you're like, oh no, it's rolling over. This is the shoulder. That's the break. We're going to come down like this. We're going to come like this. We're going to come like this. This is a bear fantasy. Look at this bitch come back to the breakout and run and not even fucking take a breath. There was one doji to board the wagon, one pullback. Only one doji in the middle of this year. Then right around the middle of last year, it's climaxing. Then this is the moreover sold at a higher price than this. You're going to find the highest close. Not that channels have to be filled, but okay, so wow. I mean, if it comes back here, then it just gets away, starts to, and it'll be, look at this blasting run. Are you kidding me? So they filter here. It never even comes back to that, but it does revisit the body of the doji is revisited in the vacuum that these people bought. So people with a lot of money had pendings in here, right? And here they're like, oh yeah, we're buying that. They're like, you getting stopped out? We're buying your stops. So these mini VAX is the stop hunt. In fact, that's quite a hunt if you think that trailing stop money managements are getting hunted. That's what's happening. That's what's fueling the move to some degree, is the amount of algo stacking up to protect risk. And when it gets filled, it's like, wow, slam. Here's another protection. Because don't forget, this here hasn't happened yet. For all people know is just keep running your money management. See, but the money management stacks up, and look at all these stops. A higher low every month, and then kablam. And now people are going to run tighter stops again, thinking, or it's just leaving behind a pile of orders. So it's order imbalance here, stacking up, and then whoosh, poof. Because this sell-off, it wasn't discounted enough because we could only take it to here. And that's why you have to be willing to sell new highs and buy new lows. And even if this is going to go up, obviously, but doesn't mean you can't start selling on scalps into this top, right? Here's all your scalps. Is it time to buy it here? Well, I don't know. I mean, they could take it back to hunt these stops down, and maybe it has to come down to here. But since we've already got this wick embedded, everybody's going to buy from here on in like this. There'll be a million buyers down here looking to gobble up if we ever get down here. And of course, if you did buy here on the way down, you've got to get on something into here. It just makes sense. And then this would certainly be the doji of the year, where the market literally didn't go anywhere. And I call this the boat trade, the 1.5 year boat trade. This thing take off. Oh my God. So yeah, I think it's just going to be crazy. It is going to be nuts. Brace yourself, people. DAX is going to crawl out of this fucking hole. So I'll make the trend line argument here on close. We're about to break it. We're banging up against, and it's really volatility in an angle, if you must know. This is volatility representation. Momentum is causing this lower swing high, where this bottom becomes a top. Now this has got to hold this channel for the DAX to go down, but it's not. It's going to go up. It's going to be crazy. Even the all stock markets are going up. And I was looking at American Express. It's going up. I don't know if those are new highs. And crude oil, I had crude oil up here. It consolidated. It was in a trader's range dream for the last. Shit, I went wrong. It's in the beginning of this thing. I put too many symbols in. Here's NASDAQ, which I think is going to lead the way. So NASDAQ's up in the critical window right now. Look at this thing. Look at this double top. So there's a double top in the NASDAQ. And look at this thing. It's about to breach this window. This should be pretty exciting this week. And this will be in the news. This would make the news. We could take out this. And NASDAQ's going to lead the rally into the ionosphere. It's kind of hard to get this. I want to situate that with, look at this thing. Just look at the volatility. It could also get slammed. Once it gets up there, if it ever has to pull back again, that's the most volatility that we have had in a long time. And maybe if I had a logarithmic chart that put less emphasis on these higher prices, but that's nuts. So it looks like we're going to bust out to the north. I think the stop hunt's already been hunted. And it's just all these people that you had to buy their stops. Here's your lonely wick. It stands alone, is a fractal. It's one of those Williams fractals. Never got filled down here. But holy moly. And then if you look at the if you go to the 1 minute chart here, I think we're going to hit this by the end of the week. We're going to start smashing up. It's going to be crazy. I'm curious to see the 30-minute chart when we start going up here. So it should be psychotic. I think I marked off the highest high. Wait. Okay, so this will be coming up on the historical price of this. So we're quite a ways away. But I'd like to see so here's the line of scrimmage. And here's where we're at. We've just pulled back in the 4-hour. And I guess we could say that's the breakout. Pulled back deeper than the breakout and continues north. And when we get to here, it should be exciting because it should go berserk. That's the all-time high on the weekly. That's the monthly. And we are very close to the top of this thing. Should be exciting. This is the leading edge. I can't see anything that's higher than this. The Hang Seng has a long way to go. This Nikkei, whatever, is playing catch up. This thing's a dog. But here's the crude oil. The 4-hour crude oil. No, this is the Exxon Mobil. Looks like crude in a way, but I don't think there's any. I couldn't draw a similarity there. I'm not going to attempt to warp my brain out. Looks like Boeing did a double bottom here. That's my Boeing airline chart. Looks like the dollar's going up. I think it's all going up. Oh, the next in line is the Dow Jones. So I think NASDAQ, then Dow, then like domino theory. Did anybody take this trade today? This is New Zealand versus the pound versus New Zealand. So with a 50 pip stop, you could have sold here and made almost 100 pips. Pretty amazing. Did not trade that one. There was a bunch of other trades you missed. If you must know, there's a lot of trades you missed. You probably don't want to know about it now. But look at all these. Look at this slot. This is a 20 pip slot of buyage on a daily chart. No indicators, daily chart. Where do you get out? Oh, somewhere in this window. Anything in this window. It's a 100 pip volley. Well, not quite. 70 pip volley. Is anybody trading that? I mean, you just got to hope. Well, they did fill you here. If you put a sell limit here, all the way to here, when it cut back into, well, first it took this bear stop. It took that bear stop and that bear stop. It didn't get this one. It didn't get that one. So you sold 1, 2, 3. Your first cash out, probably this top inside of kind of the fair value midpoint. So this is a killer fill. 4-day low taken out. Comes back, takes out this. So here's the typical whipsaw scenario of crushing both people. Both people trying to play a very safe, conservative game where they don't want to risk anything. It's sad to see. So look at all this pent-up demand. I mean, this is 5 pip window. It's crazy. But you could have a sell limit here that is so fucking insane. You're going to make 100 pips off that trade because all you did was sell this window. No stochastics, no RSI. It's just like this trade. You're going to sell here. You're probably not going to be able to go to the 5-minute chart and see that trade. So with a tight enough stop, also the volatility of this window is dying down too. It's not just the bar is small. So the bar is small from here. the smallest bar. Now here's where the true breakout traders getting creamed, but you are risking like almost 100 pips. Like if you put a sell stop here and a buy stop here, I get it. You might make money. As it goes up, you're going to trail your stop like a good goober. But for the guy that's buying anything below here because he perceives that it's in an uptrend, even if he's wrong, he's killing it, right? Because if he bought here, if you put a buy limit, and every day he's buying new lows, if he holds through that swing, he makes 150 pips. Also, he's cashing out into this because he knows that's a seller's window. But for you to get an exact, precise back and forth, it ain't going to happen. Now, if you know how to sell new highs by placing orders here, you are short here. This is your bigger ticket because it's higher. And this is where you start scaling in at. Right, so you're trying to get in at the very tippy top. And the longer this vacuum is, the more brutality there is coming off the top of that. Now all the scalpers are out. This is their exit in highs. This is their exit in time. And I guess you could say there's kind of a slight trend line here. We just broke through it. It's not perfect. It's a daily chart. It's not bad for a daily chart, actually. So, I have nothing wrong with the daily charts, but I'm not waiting for some harebrained indicator to cross over. Why would you do that? Well, because it looks like it makes sense. But this is really what makes sense, is trying to make 200 pips on this chart up here at the top, because we can't worry about what's below us. You don't necessarily want to look at this, right? Like if you're looking at this and you're saying, well, what's the trade, you know? And look at how wackadoodle this thing is. This is the monthly pound New Zealand. So this was the lonely wick here, this top. And look when they rip that up, and then they rip it all the way back to this lonely wick. It's just insane, and now it looks like it's crushing up. And it's hell-bent on going up. So the half-hour situation is... You know, you really got to be sitting there asking yourself, is the spread in the way? Like, look at the 15-minute chart. So, look at this huge pile of no trading. Here's a nice trend line break. Okay, that was quite a move. So you could have drawn a trend line right here perfectly. But the guy that's coming in and buying here, wow. 50 pip window. Nice. How much money did you make in a half an hour? Gosh, I can't understand why it went up so fast. I just don't get it. I'm baffled. This looks like a nice view. The 1 hour chart. Man, look at the trades here at the 100-yard line. Just nice, easy math. That's another reason why the 50 and the 100 are great, because it's easy math. I guess 50 pips back and forth. I'd give it about 10 pips above and below the 50. That's as good as any price. Yeah. But not if you're looking at a moving average. You'll just never be able to trade like this. And here's the 25 handle, right? But yeah, I'd have to have a buy limit sitting here. Now, in this instance, on this chart, structurally, I'm going to go like this. There's a top, and it's also the top of this wick. And here's where I'd put another buy limit, and then I'd just put up, they're probably not going to get filled. But that would be a big ticket there, and hello, all the way down, right? So having a trade plan that can buy 100 pips deep, 200 pips deep all week long is going to be, that's the way to go. Here, let me turn my template on. Okay, I gotta turn this thing off. Yeah, this is the daily, look at this thing. Man. So I'm actually in this trade. This is one of my hand placed. It's a 2K. See, this survived. This is my $10 drop. This survived the whole move. And look at it, just missed my cash out. You son of a bitch. But maybe I did cash out of other things. But yeah, that's a complete, just putting orders up in this window. I had them. And maybe these cashed out, or maybe these had too tight a stop. But there was a sell window. Yeah, I think the 100 pip grid, which is the big black line, it's just easy to do the math and say, I'll risk 50 to make 100. I'll risk 50 to make 100, but you're not getting in at exactly 100. You're getting in at around 100. And, your first exit has to be here at the 50 because that's the floor. Also, it's not guaranteed, but, well, we did make it to the 50 here, right? So you can't just be relying on the 50. You have to see that this was the lonely wick, and that was where we just filled, and you're up on that trade, which I was trading more than one ticket on this, I'm pretty sure. Here I would put in orders, so here, let me drop a few. I'll put the swing trades in. I'm going to make a weekly drop so I don't have to keep coming back to these pairs I don't trade, which is like, Euro CAD. People are calling this thing out, and I'm like, really? Didn't even know it was a pair. But I guess there's so many, right? And a lot of them you would think would move in concert, and that's his expectation. That's always, it's an expectation that's never fulfilled because it doesn't happen. I haven't seen it happen. I've seen kind of it happening, and I think, this is ridiculous. Let me just focus on one thing at a time. Because, New Zealand versus yen, CAD versus yen, okay, you can do that. Which is the best one? Well, it's like the one that you're on, I suppose. What's the best car? The one you're driving. Certainly the Euro's kind of boring, I suppose, because there's so many people in it. But, dollar yen's probably the most liquid next to that. So let me put up my navigator. But yeah, instead of going through this drama of keep putting these tickets in here, let me go to the 4-hour chart. So I'm just going to throw in some wide stops here. I'll put it right on this top. See how it is like a tight, that's a 50 pip stop. As long as I buy on the way to this. So I'm actually going to place the ticket right on the rooftops because if we come back to this, anywhere down here, as long as I don't duplicate the order, I think I'm doing good. Okay, so I can't do it on $1 here. I don't think it's tradable. So we just place some orders here. Pound CAD. See, I don't know if this cashed out. I guess I could have made money there. I see the blues were up there. I'm thinking I want to buy right here at this wick. I don't know if I got filled on this one, but we'll just see what happens. Try to get as many K rolling here as possible. I did put some buy stops in. I was pretty bullish. So I did the goober trade and I put a buy stop right here. You know, I also do want to buy down here. So I don't want to trade the market. And this looks like it's going to bust all the way south now. This looks like a tremendous sell-off coming in pound euro. Pound Australia looks like it's going to go to hell. So I'm going to try to catch a falling knife here. And I got some buy stops sitting above. There's news coming out probably. Big news coming out here. Let me go down to the got 15 seconds to fix the scale here and jump on this one. Yeah, so we just took out this low here. This should be crazy. Boom. I'm going to put buy stops in above. Buy limits below. Yes, this is good. Yeah, this is easy. I just love it when they come down like this. It's hysterical. So it's like trading at the market when you put buy stops in, because you really want to wait till the market slams down one more time. Okay, so now that we can see the reaction was here. This is the window. Everybody's gobbling up. So now we go to the 5-minute chart. Yeah, now I'm going to be like this. Let me just get in here. Anything down here is good. Yeah, that's just going to go to hell. Look at this. That's beautiful. Oh man, look at that thing. The last thing I want to do is put a buy stop in here. I'll wait till they take another 50 pips. Or, just like at the market, I'm going to wait until 5 minutes go by on the 5-minute chart. This is such a giant wick. So it's more likely we're going to go down a little bit lower. So if not, I'm going to start buying right here. It's kind of going to keep me from oversizing it too. If I can cover this whole area with all my limits. Gosh, I feel like I should have bought more there. Here, I'm going to put a fucking goober order in. Okay. So you really got to focus on when one of these things goes off like this. I just bring all guns to bear on this. I'm not going to go trade anything else. I think I can make a pile of money on this trade, actually. Now I'm going to run the tight stops with the big positions. Let's try to make 50 pips here with a 15 pip stop. Try to make $40, risking $10. Now I can start putting these scalps down deep. Everything else was swing trades I put in. Yeah, it's hilarious because look at the 1 minute chart. That's the dead cat bounce. We might take another plunge now. Yeah, so let's wait a minute here for this to plunge some more. It'd be cool to have a volatility alarm. But I actually had a volatility alarm once and it kept going off. So I was like, hey, you know what? I don't hear it anymore. Look at this thing. We're about to take out the low. Man, look at this 50 pips to drop here. Another 50, easy. So I'm gonna go full retard martingale down here at the 100-yard line. As long as I don't delete the objects, I can pretty much get a different price and a different stop all on the way here. The 25-yard line. These last all day. Oh boy, I should have bought there. See, 5-minute chart just updated. Oh no, sorry. That's the 1-minute chart, but well, look at that double bottom. I think they're still gonna crush it. There's hell to pay here, people. Pay up. There's hell to pay. Boy, that pound can't compete with the Australians, man. Well, you know what's going on there, don't you? It's some fucking ladyboys. It's a fundamental trade. Oof, we're going down. We're going down to tubes. There she blows, Captain. Bye-bye. It's the Brexit. You know what it is? It's that church burning over there. Man, they're going to punish this thing. Oh, my God. 5 minutes just updated. We're going lower. Just in case we don't, I'm going to start putting buy stops in now. So I'm getting at the market, essentially. Because we are, like, down 10 minutes. Almost 50 pips in 10 minutes. I mean, 20 pips. No, it's 50 pips in about 10 minutes. Now they're just going to plunge this thing to hell. So now I'm going to run the buy stops above. And I'm going to put buy limits deep. It looks like it's just going to tank. I want to get into like $3,000 of margin here. Look at them gobble up my tickets. I'm the stop gobbler. Yeah, I mean, this is the way to do it, man. So we're going to get about, I don't know if I can stop down. Maybe I am. No, I want to get 1,500 of margin going here. Look at that thing go. Oh, it's just beautiful. Go for the 50 pip stops here. Big swing trades. Looking to make 100 pips. Shouldn't be hard to do in this currency. Even though the spread is 3 goddamn pips. It makes up for it in the complete drama of this pair. Oof. Wow, look at this thing go nuts. Alrighty then. I think, gosh, it's hard to get in a fit. Now I gotta put buy stops in. What a bitch. Okay, I just will here. That's it. We're done going down. Okay, now the scalpers are gonna get out here at the 50. Duh. I still want it to go lower though. Now I'm putting in the scalps. I'm going to put 13 pip stops here. Here's my biggest ticket. Risk $10 to make $80. And there. I can't really put a buy stop in there because we're not trending up. I mean, I can't put a tight buy stop in there because I'm treating these like market orders. Because if I put it here, it's like a market order with a wide stop, a 50 pip stop. But I can't put a 13 pip stop or even a 17 on this thing here. So here we go. Looks like we're going to come ripping back up now. I'm almost at 1,500 margin. I'll take a risk at 17 pips. 20 pips on stop. 25 is a good stop. Here's 25 pips to make 100. This is your good old American trade right here. 20 to make 50. I like that. $10 to make 25. Yeah, that's a good trade plan right there. That's straight lace shit right there. Give me 20 pips stop to make 50. It's a stop up above and it's a limit below. I think we could do that. How about 25 to make 100? All right. So, yeah, this is good. Boy, they just beat the shit out of this thing. We are down. We haven't even found a weekly got a weekly basement down here. Another 65 pips to go till you hit this. Oof, I don't know about that. Look at this thing cut. It's all because we took this out. That was a big deal. That was this wick here. Man, we poked into that window. So here was the scalp. Here's the window it poked into. As soon as they hit this, here comes the scalpers. They didn't get the exit that they really wanted, I don't think, because it never made it back to this. Just about. Pretty fucking close, but they just missed it by a little bit. Pretty close. Now look at this thing. Wow. So yeah, that 1 minute chart was like a continuation. That was the dead cat bounce here. Now looks like I can plunge it again. So that's fine with me because I just put new orders down there. I'm a big fan of this plunging again. In fact, if we could make it down to here, I'd be even more gratified. That would be amazing. Okay, that's a 1 minute chart. The 1 minute chart works when you're at this level of zoomage. When the market's moving this hard, 1 minute chart, right? Plus we can see we have all these orders pent up here. So I wouldn't touch this trade. I wouldn't put any more buy stops in. I wouldn't, maybe on the top of that fractal there, that little 1 minute mountaintop. I guess you could, I put a buy stop up here. Yeah, you know what, because if it tanks, you won't get filled. That's a good thing. Maybe later on tonight, if it lasts all day, later on tonight, if we go swooping up here, it's going to be a golden entry. I guess you could say they just stop onto these people, but I just put in all these tickets that last a whole day. So I'm prepared to keep buying this. Like just, you can't believe to hear. Just insane. I doubt I'll get out of my tickets here, but I know there's sellers there that are going to scalp out. So if we come here like this and bam, we can see a ricochet off that. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about scenarios that are going to unfold possibly. I'm just going to worry about the current trade I can possibly put on with the, like if I'm looking at the daily here and I'm saying, well, let me look at the daily pound Australia. And as this thing's been tanking this whole time, you could have played this stupid ass game of putting a buy limit in a 50 pip window here on the daily and ride it back to just here to make your just for that you can make 100 pips, right? And if you just traded it back to say here or even, okay, as soon as it comes down here, right? You could have bought, you could have limits here because of that low. You could have limits here, and you could have had limits just beyond that wick, and all the way down to here that you never got filled. And then your exit would be, well, for the stuff you bought here, the exit has to be here, right? For the stuff you bought beyond that low. It doesn't mean you can't hold it, some of that, and actually make 150, 250, 300 pips and just trade reversals. So the reason why the no-nonsense Forex guy surprises me is because he doesn't want to trade reversals because it fucks up his indicators. I mean, his indicators can't trade reversals. So it's like when the news comes out, people say, I hope the news doesn't ruin our charts, is because they have this predetermined view of what's going to be what, and they don't want it to fuck up their moving averages. Now, if you're trading these windows here, you could trade a reversals or continuations, reversal into a continuation, without having to do any more analysis than looking back at the other days. And even here, you would be long from here all the way down as much as you could afford, right? So it's not like you couldn't walk around with a 100 pip window machine and apply it when need be. Just like, well, here we have a flat 4-day top, but when the market took out this high, you could have sold into that. And a trend trader would, because a trend trader would assume that, well, even for the trend line trader, until something can break this trend line, and I guess you can claim it broke there, but it kind of didn't make it, that you're in a downtrend. It doesn't mean that the counter trend traders or the counter trend people could be making more than the trend traders, because the guy that buys this is counter trend trading it. Or maybe he's claiming that he's trading the larger time frame trend. Don't forget, there's trends within trends. There's a guy that's claiming, oh, well, I would not sell there. Can't you see this is an uptrend? I'm buying right there. What are you, nuts? I'm buying right here. And then he gets killed, right? Because he thinks it's going to hold it again. But these windows here on the daily, I believe that there's always a trade every day. So here, what's the trade for me? Well, I'm buying into this plunge. Or this is like a 2 or 3 day trade. So I'd have to open a different account, and just have that on a different device. Totally. It'd be like, okay, this account is just over here. Or it's on a different, folder directory. And just to keep it organized, because I want to know exactly how much I'm making from this one trade. I don't want to commingle this with the CAD, the pound CAD, and all these other things. Like the pound CAD trade, which I just put buy limits in here and just walked away, because this is obvious that this is a buy zone here. I'm not going to focus that heavily on this. To really get the maximum out of this currency, I got to go to this thing, then I got to zoom out. It's going to be a drama. It's not going to be worth it to me, because I want to get out when the market hits my target, or I see that it's not hitting my target. I want to go into that thing. Oh, here's the crude oil thing. So crude oil's been going sideways and flagging out. And this is the daily chart. On the 4-hour chart, it's a different scene, right? It is so funny. I was watching that Wayne Dyer guy, and he was using the linear regression. Okay, the market can't see your linear regression. I'm just saying. So look at this. And this is also the 50-cent yard line in crude, which is not. It's just a way of doing easy math, because it obviously went below it, but there's where the top-bottom failure comes in pivots in time on the 4-hour crude. It's also that's the lonely wick. And here we never really make it to here. I think we make it here within just barely, right? This is the ultimate stop hunt all the way back to here. Boom. As soon as we clip that, golly, it goes up. I just don't get it. Plus, we have this big void here waiting to get filled. And that was a little more pent-up demand, even though this was a pretty good slot here that filled. But those bends in the river. So you have this big hole here. And so the cup and handle trade, you want to buy the saucer. You want to buy the bottom of the cup. And people say you can't pick tops and bottoms. You don't have a choice. And they say don't assume anything. Well, you don't have a choice. You have to assume that, yeah, this is going up. And look at crude oil. It's about to take out this window. I think the NASDAQ and crude are going to simultaneously go through the roof. It's going to be some exciting week here. And like I said, I think it has to do with, even I heard the Michael Norman, Norm Michael talking about tax time and what happens to the dollar. And I think we're talking about serious inflation here. So the numbers are in, and boy, this pound CAD looks like we're going through the floor here on pound CAD. Wow, that's kind of scary. Here, look at this giant hole. So it looks like the pound's going to get creamed by the CAD. Oh, looks like they came back to my entry. So here's the ones I started the thing with. I got filled while we were talking about the other nonsense. See how that worked? I got filled on that, and I could cash out on there right now. So I'm going to cash out of that trade. Boom. So this is something I don't have to worry about now. I started the video there. Or I did that earlier tonight, I remember. I can't trade this. I don't think I got the right... So that's it. That's what's going on. Stocks are going to go through the roof. I can't wait to hear what they're going to say. Well, the Democrats will say probably something, well, it's all Trump's friends getting rich. They're all in the stocks, but us poor people are in the stock market. We're just barely squeezing by. Look at this thing rip. So here's another one I loaded the wagon on, as you can only imagine. This is my infamous... And this is why I don't like the cloud thing, so forget what I said about the cloud. Unless you're up for all that color antic, just go for a goddamn open, high-low close chart. My line chart with big bar. Look at this thing rip. Oh, it's beautiful. All of these, I bought all the way down here. From all these new lows I bought. So I've already scalped out into here. And now I want to put buy limits here and capture one more pullback. If it happens. We just don't know. Oh wait, what's going on with my other currencies? See, I could never do all these currencies. Pound, here it is. Are we still going through the floor here? Oh my God, they're still tanking. We're in the 40s. Oh my God, look out. Is this a dead cat bounce on the 5? My God, bastards. Okay, 1300. 1300. Those bastards over there. These bankers don't fuck around, dude. They can see your stop. You don't think they're hunting your stops? What are you, fucking moron? Look, I got buy stops at the top here. I like an idiot goober. I got buy stops. Well, we might be right about that trade. You stick with it, buddy. You're doing real good. Since you did that no-nonsense Forex course, honey. Yeah, my husband's not suicidal now that he doesn't use the dirty dozen no more. I made a comment on something. I didn't even know what it was. It was a broker, 60-second comment about the markets with a 50. Period moving average on 100, and I just blasted these people because I was so pissed off. I go, what a dumb shit. So these broker guys come down on me like a ton of bricks. What you talking about? And then one guy, I said to one guy, I go, what are you talking about? And the guy at the brokerage firm comes in and goes, hey, he's one of our best Ellioticians. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. He studied Elliott wave. He's really good at it. I don't know, man. Elliott wave. The biggest wave is wave 3. Okay, that's wave 3. How do you explain the rest of this chart? It doesn't work. Well, it should work on all time frames. I like when people say, does that work on the 1 minute chart? Well, sure. Right here, you got a top bottom right now. But will it hold? I hope so, because I'm long. We got a hold right here. Here's where the sellers came in. I told you to be sellers coming in there. So we didn't get out there. Like I said, I'm in for a penny. I'm in for a pound. Now I should have cashed out there, right? But I would have had to babysit this fucking thing. Actually, that's at the 50-yard line. So this is the one that's plunging. Okay. And here's where I would say, yeah, walk away. There's nothing you do is going to change the outcome of this thing. Besides, the news is out or whatever. I don't think it's news so much as it just made new lows and just people are gobbling up that genuine, that new price. The people love new stuff, man. The big boys, they love a new price. It's nice and low. Look at this little walk down on the 1 minute. It's just marching down. This is wave 4 in Elliott. Consolidation's wave 4. Big move is wave 3. Or it's wave C. A, B, C is the big wave. Or it's 1, 2, 3 is the big wave. Elliott wave is really 3 waves. Well, wave 4, and then that's supposed to be the turnaround. Well, wave 4 is here, then it goes up, then it turns around. But the problem is, are we in an ABC or are we in a 5 wave? Is it 3 wave or 5 wave? And then they'll say, well, it's an extension, see? Okay, well, how does anybody make money with Elliott wave is what I want to know. Maybe they're just not over trading it. Okay, we gotta cut north here. We gotta take that out. I think it's gonna happen. Like if I go to the, I can believe it on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so 15-minute chart. There's a big bar there, and we couldn't trade this. We're not going to put a buy stop here and a sell stop here and risk all that. So that's why we bought limits all the way down. And if I was trading at the market, I'd buy right here at the end of 15 minutes. But luckily, since we were able to throw those tickets out like a spike strip, yeah, we took advantage of that. And we got our first trend line we can draw. If we can close up here, we'll draw the first magical trend line. Just like that. There you go. There's your first uptrend. We're just about to break out and take out the last 10 minutes of trading. Why do people want to put so much shit on this story? It is such a dumb shit story, but I guess it's too dumb. I want to see something fancy. You got one of them clouds? I was just doing that for people that like, I wouldn't trade with that cloud thing. If you put a gun to my head, you put a pip gun to my brain, I wouldn't do it. But boy, I sure do like this black and white view. Here we go. 5-minute chart. Come on, you can do it. Break out, buddy. Now the big boys are getting out right here. Last known support. Actually, they're probably going to get out here. We haven't even made it back there yet. That's a distant thought. So that was the Asian low. We blew that out, and just a whole pant load of buyers came in here. I was being one of them. I just don't get this confirmation shit, dude. Actually, I do have confirmation here. It went down and it filled me. It's a different kind of confirmation. It's confirmation of limit fill as opposed to stop entry. I know it makes you feel good that, when it goes up and you're like, see, I knew I was right. Now it's safe to get on that train. What makes you think that it's not going to consolidate even more and actually be a bigger move because it's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. It's not just going to pull back once and go up. It's going to go, it may pull back once and go up. I don't really count on any kind of scenario. I'm not going to paint. I'm kind of doing it for the people that want to see that, I suppose. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the trade as being the highest probability window is to buy this all the way down, and when it gets to here, we get out of a percentage of the trade. Or if you're going, got to get out of something here because we know there's going to be a problem. then you could, if you go flat here, every ticket's up, except for those last two that I got at the very top of the bank. Then as soon as you cash out, we rinse and repeat and do limits all over again. And maybe we only get filled on the top half of this. We would have to buy lower again. So you're really trying to gobble up. Imagine this goes up, go flat, and then throw in another rack of limits. And that's how I would do it, because I don't see another answer. I don't see another way of doing it. Here's the British pound trade that I've been putting limits in based on the weekly. Look at how tight and narrow this thing's getting. And look at all the, this is the weekly chart. Look at all this pressure building up on the top here. Not a higher high for how many weeks now? This is the smallest week in how many weeks on this chart. So my ATR runs day by day. It's called True Range. So once I figured out I was become a simpleton, and I'm just going to plot along. So if the hedge traders have buy stops there, sell stops here, and that thing breaks, it's not like they can't stop up to here, so we would put buy limits in here, right? And we would put sell limits maybe up here. So how does this resolve? We have to stop on this. If we put buy stops, we'd probably want to delete these ones that are too high. So we move all our stops down to here and start getting in a bigger position. Also, you're going to martingale in, because what you're going to do is, well, I don't know who has a buy stop here and a sell stop here. That looks risky. So the risk keeps going down as the weekly volatility dies down. And now it's very low risk for pip-wise. And what's going to be the end of this? Right, I'm going to crush this thing up here. So the plot thickens there. That's just how it is. Okay, well, it's going to be an interesting week. And what do we got here? Let me go back. This software is such a piece of shit. Every time. Really, my mouse over makes the thing turn one color, but then I can't tell if it's on. Thanks. People write shit they don't even use. Hey, looks like the Australian dollar is going up like a whore. But the scalpers will be getting in here. You know it. They'll sell that 50 pip window for a pullback. We can all see these trades. Oh, look at this thing tanking. Yeah, the pound's going to get clobbered. The pound is going to hell, man. What did they do to that thing? Here's my pound Australia. Wow. So my trend line's got to hold here. This is my trend line. So, anyways, I got to go get some grub. Chow down here.